Well, Australian Survivor versus the world has officially ended. A few a few weeks of insane like season that we were hoping was gonna come out that we were excited for when they were first announced. I mean, when you look at the cast of this season, you're like, um, hell yeah. I mean, come on, seeing like people like Parvati, Sari, and Tony here, seeing some other worthy people like, Rob Bentley from South Africa, Lisa from New Zealand, and see some Australia's like most memorable players. I mean, Janine and Sarah were definitely a little black sheep because, like, I mean, they're good players and good players on this characters on their season, but like, really for this type of season? But of course, see people like David, George, Shawnee, Luke, all on the same tribe. Like, the season was gonna be like full of insane gameplay and exciting moments and just full of just awe from beginning to end. And of course, like many people, I was excited for this season. I was hoping for a really great ride throughout. And that's pretty much what I got, honestly. Like, I'm not denying this is gonna be perfect, honestly. Like, I still don't know how I feel about certain things. I don't know where it's gonna rank when I eventually do my Australian Survivor season ranking down the road. We can still debate when I'm gonna do that, but when I do my Australian Survivor season ranking down the road, probably the next like this week or a couple weeks, we'll see how when it goes on. But I do eventually plan on doing season ranking of Australian Survivor. So I still don't know what season is gonna end up ranking amongst us Australian Survivor seasons, but overall, this season is probably some of the most fun I had in this season. Overall, I could say is some of the most fun I've had watching Survivor. Throughout there's like 13, throughout the episodes, I don't think there was a true dull episode in this season. But like every episode had something interesting and exciting going on, where you generally never know what was going to happen. And more, of course, came a little more obvious during the end game. Every episode was still pretty exciting and still pretty just in awe. Like, oh my god, like get some very exciting drop councils, honestly, especially with the final 8 drop council, which is probably going to be up there as one of the best Australian drop travels ever. Even the 5-1 one was pretty interesting as well. But again, see some of these players end up interacting with each other, which is so exciting to witness. I mean, for the Boots, you got Rob Bentley from South Africa, the winner that season, who's one of the most dominant winners of all time, who, well, is a little disappointing. He was the first boot this season. I mean, I can say how dominating it was. I'm not really surprised. I'm not surprised at all. So David, Gennett, and George were early boots because, I mean, I love David, but come on, he's the golden god. You're not going to take him far. And also, he's going and funny thing we got about earlier, because he's going to be the next Australian Survivor host, which we'll see how that goes. And as much as I love George, he really had no chance on this season. Like, I'm not surprised he came out early boots. Even what wasn't he supposed to be like a target pretty much every Tribal Council, kind of like how you always is in every one of his seasons, despite how much I love him as a character. And I'm also not surprised that Tony was also not early boot, honestly. Like, I was hoping he would make much this time, honestly, but I think this proves it because there's 2 times that he's probably going to be early boot on any given season he appears in the future. Whether it be another season 5 or maybe for legend seasons, or if he does compete on reality shows. I mean, the trailers this year kind of proves that. And then we got Sarah and Kirby, who, again, Sarah was definitely one of the black sheep for this season, because, like, really, Sarah for this type of season? But, yeah, she definitely could have been winning contender. I feel like she was going to be how much content she was getting, but, overall, though, I still like Sarah, and I wouldn't mind seeing her again. Same with Kirby as well. This season definitely proved that Kirby can really stand on her own aside from Ferris. That's what I think that a lot of people had a concern that Kirby wasn't going to stand much on her own outside of Ferris. But this season proves she does, honestly. This season proved that she does. Then we have Cass, who was one of the only 2 people on the season I had never seen this season, because she'd be on, I believe, I don't remember season 1 or 2, but she'd be on one season I saw with Quebec. And I absolutely loved her on this season. For when she was shown, she was an incredible character. Had so many fun one-liners, and I had a really good relationship with Party throughout the season. She was just a delight to watch. Probably wish I got to see a little more of her, but when I got her, she was incredible. I'll say though, Tommy and Lisa were a bit disappointing, honestly. Tommy was more, but that's I mean, that's not really anything wrong aside from Lisa wanting to quit at the final 7, save Tommy. But Tommy as well, the fact that he really didn't have much editing this season. He wasn't really focused on much, honestly, this season, which was a bit disappointing. So I still feel like I know like who voice Tommy is. So, like, I won't say he was told that this season. I won't say he was even dead at all, but it was a bit disappointing. And Lisa was also a bit disappointing, even though I still do like Lisa, honestly. Like, she was, of course, the winner of New Zealand, one of the most impressive winners on that season. You're like, ah! But again, the edit was not really the greatest for her at times. Again, her game was not really the greatest, at least the final 8, and especially the final 7. So we all knew she was going to come out early. And then we have Shani, who is still Shani, and I mean that in the best possible way possible. Like, if this is the last time you're going to see Shani on Transfiber, I'd say how she went out, great way for her to go out on. Fortunately, I don't think Shani's ever going to win Survivor, and no matter how much she's beyond, she's just too darn likable. But she proved that she really has some great gameplay and some really great moments, especially with her relationship with Parvati and Saria and other players throughout the season. The fact for what she did is actually pretty surprising. And once again, Sari was so close to making it to the end. Like, again! Like, seriously. Like, I'm really hoping at least in this round of 50, she does make it to the end this time. Like, I'm really praying on that. But again, so close. Sari was so goddamn close. So close. So close to making it to the end. And it was painful that close. There was another fight maker challenge, and of course she didn't make a fight 20 years later, and she still can't fight. But she also failed to make a fight previously, actually, in this insane season. But again, Sari's still Sari, so yeah. And that's for the final 3. We got Janine, who was also a pretty fun character here, honestly. She kind of played how I expected her to play onto this season. That's why I'm not surprised she ended up being a Lucy finalist. Then we have the run-up in Luke Talkie, who, of course, is one of the best Star characters ever. Not exactly the greatest person outside the show if you look up some of the stuff that he said, which I did not actually know about until I actually did research myself and people kept saying it. But this is easily his best season. Yeah, I mean, it's impressive he actually did make it to the end, honestly, but there's no way he was going to win, unfortunately, this time around. But Luke is an incredible character, has great gameplay and great challenge beats, and again, at least I'm impressed he actually at least made it to the end this time. At least he made it to the finals this time. And then we get the queen herself, Parvati Shallow. Well, it might have been obvious that she was going to win at a certain point. I'm happy she has won. Again, another thing I plan to do in the future is pretty much going to rank all her appearances, so stay tuned with that coming at some point. But Parvati is a freaking queen this season. She absolutely nailed it. Like, this might be in the bay of being her, in terms of gameplay at least, this might be in the bay of being her best run to date. Like, and the fact that she even won this season is surprising. It's kind of similar to how I feel about Tony Vlachos when he won his award, which is because he's on the season. Like, I was told she would make the March this time at least, but I don't think we all expected that Parvati was going to end up winning this season, because, it's goddamn Parvati Shallow. Like, Shallow, after her first appearance, she was targeting pretty much all her appearances after this. They wouldn't make it fun. Like, I was kind of surprised she made it before she did Mechanisia and Hero vs. Villains. And this season, she didn't even vote. She didn't receive a single vote against her. And she won in an incredibly dominant fashion. And she plays probably one of the most impressive games of Survivor we have seen in probably a while, actually. Like, yeah, she plays incredibly. She plays the most impressive game probably since D in Final 45. And she might play. Like, this might be in the bay of being her best game to date. Like, with her impressive maneuvers, especially her final 8 round and final 5 rounds, and her incredible social ability. Like, she is impressive on this season. Like, truly impressive. As a character, as a game player, and this is, honestly, I can say this is definitely her swan song. This is definitely her swan song, to where if this is the last time we're going to see part of the Survivor, which is very likely at this point, this is a perfect way for her to go out on. Like, I don't see what else we would get from Parvati if she would appear again at a point in the game. So I felt that she's done with it, which I could definitely see why she would be now she's won twice. So again, this is definitely the perfect way to end the incredible run of Parvati Shallow. She ended up beating her not winning in Heroes vs. Villains, and it's just an incredible play in general. And she definitely somehow improved her even more amazing legacy. I ain't know that's possible. Now, in terms of the season itself, again, every top council was a lot of fun. There were a lot of fun character moments, seeing a lot of these type of different players from different countries interact with each other. Especially seeing like Parvati and Suri interact with Cass and interact with Shawnee as well. I think my only real negatives for this season, I'm not saying this season's definitely perfect, honestly, it's mostly because of the editing at times, honestly, which is always an issue with some Australian Survivor seasons. Like I said, I don't think Lisa and Tommy really got the best edits, honestly, and it was definitely clear at some point that Polly was going to win the season if you have not read any spoilers, because I think the spoilers got revealed a little bit ahead of time, if I remember correctly. Correct me wrong on that, but that's always been an issue with Australians out in general. They're always like so obvious with their winners. But it's probably shallow, so it's like I'm not gonna complain. But it does bring a spent a couple moments, unfortunately. Like I so said, this is definitely some of the most fun I had watching Survivor in quite a while. Like it was entertaining from beginning to end. But the editing, I don't think it was a true dull episode. And also another show I had is, of course, the editing. They feel like they're all going to set up relationships that are not paying off. Like they're going to set up think that Rob, like, admitting that David probably had a connection from the Island 2 was going to be like a big thing coming into the merge or later on. But no, it doesn't. They said we're living Rob and David in the beginning of the season, but that didn't really pay off. Fortunately, that's the thing with Australian Friday. They set relationships and none of them ever pay off. But there's some more small negatives, honestly. Again, in terms of entertainment value, this season is incredible. Like, I was smiling, I was happy from beginning to end. A lot of moments were like, it feels like I survived a fan fiction come to life too. I'm really hoping at some point down the road we do actually get another type of season. Like, maybe I have excuse to bring Boston Rob back. I have excuse to bring like other like legendary players back. Honestly, like maybe I have excuse to bring other South Africa or other memorable players back. They've been one match for so long. I wouldn't mind that how much. Like maybe I fixed up dealing with editing and the structure, but I wouldn't mind this type of season, honestly. So yeah, 8 vs. World was pure fun and entertainment, and I had a blast from beginning to end. Still don't know where this ranks in terms of Australian round seasons, but we'll get there, we get there. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this quick review. Let me know your thoughts of Australian Survivors the World down below in the comment section. Again, I do have a few Australian Survivors videos coming very soon. This is the Survivor Encyclopedia, signing off.